Oh, yeah. Ian.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our online viewers. My name is Mike Irvin, and I am the co-founder of the Fisheye Project. We're here today to take you on an underwater safari of the artificial reef off of Ogden Point breakwater. That's located on the coast of Vancouver Island, Canada. We're going to be giving you a unique adventure to take a very in-depth look and personal look at all the different marine species that are growing off of Ogden Point breakwater. And so on this journey, you'll be able to see all sorts of fish. You'll see maybe an octopus. You'll see lots of kelp forests and all the species that live in these zones. So I'm going to be passing it over to Valerie Mucciarelli now, who will be taking you on an underwater safari. Here we go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the underwater safari and happy World Oceans Day. My name is Valerie Mucciarelli, and I will be your live dive guide today. As Mike mentioned, we are at the Ogden Point breakwater in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia. And I have with me on camera, the cameraman, Mike Blazeka, and our two support divers are Rupert Evans and Rowan Dowling. And we have our photographer, Scott Stevenson, with us today as well. So Mike's just going to head down here first, as you can see, and I will be following shortly behind him. Here we go. So as you can see, right now I am swimming over an incredible amount of kelp here. algae to grow. And so it's the algae that gives our water the green color. It's like swimming in a forest right now. And it's like I'm going through the canopy of the forest. And if I move around some of the canopy, we might be able to find some critters hiding in the kelp. Let's see what we can find here. Are there any questions from the surface?
How cold is the water?
Right now, the water is probably 11 degrees. But while it's really cold in the water, we are staying quite warm in our dry suits, our aqua lung dry suits.
Now I have a question from the surface.
Great!
What is the oxygen level in the water?
Oh, that is a really good question. To be fully honest, I'm not too sure what the oxygen level is. But we could probably test that if we had a meter with us that measures the amount of oxygen. Great question. So, right underneath us is blocks that form the breakwater. And while the breakwater was built to protect ships coming in way back in 1916, the breakwater actually serves as an artificial reef as well, as you can see. And in front of us, and kind of above us, right above me, you can see lots of tube snouts, those long fish swimming around. People also like to call them needlefish because they're so long. So you often see these tube snouts in the kelp swimming around, and we see them in end of April, early May, and around that time you'll see the males will develop this bright blue nose and these bright orange patches underneath the fins on the sides of their bodies, called pectoral fins. And this bright coloration that the tube snouts develop is so that they can look sexy for the females. Meanwhile, the females, they remain sort of a dull green, olive, brown color. you can see they lay the eggs in clumps. And actually, I think I see a tiny tube snout right now. Looks like they've already started hatching. I don't think we'll be able to see it on our screen, but this is really exciting. Can you see that, Mike?
Yes, we can see it. That looks awesome.
Yeah! We have found a baby tube snout. It's so cute. So this tiny little tube snout is going around eating tiny food particles in the water called plankton. That's great. Now, I'm gonna see if we can get, I found another wonderful critter over here on the blocks. I'm gonna see if we can get in here. I have to push away some of the kelp here. So, we're gonna see if we can get Mike in here. Again, this kelp forest is great, just like a forest. It sort of covers and protects a lot of animals. And down below here, I'm going to move some of the kelp again. We have this bright orange plant-looking thing.
Now, we have a question from the surface.
Yes.
What type of species eat kelp?
Oh, great question. So, the main species that eats kelp is urchin. And urchins are these tiny, not tiny I should say, but are these balls that are covered in spikes that are animals that go around and chomp on the kelp. Great question. So here, down here, not sure, we're gonna try and get ourselves seeing this bright orange plant-looking thing that's actually not a plant at all. This, believe it or not, is an animal. And this is the orange sea cucumber. So, the branches that you're seeing there are its tentacles. And it uses its tentacles to capture the tiny food particles I mentioned earlier called plankton. And just like you and I would raise our hands to our mouth to eat, the sea cucumber does the same. It brings its tentacle towards its mouth to eat, and its mouth is located right in the center. And I'll point it out here. I can get a little bit closer without blocking the view. So it's actually eating right now, which is awesome. So right in the center there is its mouth, and he has one of his tentacles right in there, like licking his fingers. Oh, and I just noticed another animal here. The amazing thing about these underwater animals, there's so much life and so brightly colored.
it again, that'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. So right here is the gumboot chitin. Right there. So most chitins, actually we can see other chitins on this wall here. There's a chitin right here. And you can see that these chitins have scales. But the gumboot chitin, you don't see the scales. And that's because it has this leathery covering that sits on top of its scales. And the reason why these chitins have scales is number one, protection from predators. They're quite hard. And number two, it allows them to move. So chitins will move along the blocks, and they have, so on the underside of their bodies, they have a large muscular foot and a mouth, similar to snails, and inside their mouth they have a tongue with sharp teeth on their tongue. The gumboot chitin in particular their teeth are made of a metal called magnetite. And so they use their sharp tongues like a cheese grater to scrape the blocks or scrape the rocks. And they're scraping off algae to eat.
I have a question from the surface.
Go ahead.
Do you see any decorator crabs around you?
Ooh. Let's see. I don't see any at the moment, but that does not mean that they're not around. If I see a decorator crab, I will definitely point it out. Because those are one of my favorite animals. So let's continue along these blocks here to see what else we can find. So I'm just gonna turn around here, do a 180, and continue swimming. Oh, look! So right... Oh, I thought I saw an animal! Oh, there he is! Again, the kelp is really great for camouflaging and for covering animals. Once you sort of look underneath the kelp, you can find lots and lots of cool animals. Right here, we have a helmet crab. Oh, look at this! This helmet crab is feasting away on these eggs here. Can you see that? Oh, there he goes.
We can see that. Oh, it's amazing, Val.
Yeah. So I'm not quite sure. These might be tube snout eggs, but I'm not entirely sure. It can be difficult to determine. And that helmet crab was having a great buffet there on those eggs. So if you look at this block right here, this is part of the breakwater. And as you can see, it's just, you cannot see the block itself. You can't see the concrete that it's made of, because it's just covered in red calcareous algae, this pink coralline algae, red seaweed here, red algae. I will never forget the first time that I dove on the West Coast. It was amazing. I was blown away by all of these bright colors. And the breakwater is particularly covered in life because it's been around for almost 100 years. Let's see what other cool critters we can find in this kelp forest
Gabriel from Portugal is wondering what types of species eat live kelp.
Oh, that's great. So, it's mainly urchins that eat the live kelp. And urchins use these teeth, these very sharp teeth that are on the bottom of their bodies to chop away at the base of the kelp. Great question. Let's see here. Okay.
Hey Val, could you take a look at some of the barnacles and how they thrive in this habitat?
Sure. Maybe we can take a look at the barnacles as we come up. Because they're a little higher up in the water. So right here, I found this adorable little sea star. This right here, whoops, is a blood star. Right here. So this little blood star, it moves around using hundreds of tiny little tube feet that line each arm, the bottom of each of its arms, and its mouth is located in the center underneath its body. And blood stars, they eat mostly plankton, and they create this mucus on their 2 feet to capture the plankton. They also feed on sponges. And just below us here, we have, we have 2 decorator crabs. This is awesome. I'm going to try and point them out because they are quite camouflaged here. So there's one right here, and there's one just below. And I like to call the decorator crabs the divas of the sea. Because they decorate themselves. But while they decorate themselves, they don't decorate themselves to stand out. They actually decorate themselves so that they camouflage with their surroundings. So decorator crabs will take usually, things like seaweed and place it on their body. But if you were to put a decorator crab in a tank with things that you don't necessarily find in the marine environment, like ribbons or beads or paper towels, they will decorate themselves with those things. Are there any questions from the surface?
Everybody's just watching and enjoying.
Awesome.
We do have one question. What is the temperature of the water?
It is 11 degrees. Oh, this is great. Mike, the cameraman, has found a beautiful anemone here. So this anemone here, I think it's let's see.
Now, is that a painted anemone?
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a look here to see if it's a painted anemone here. I think it might be. It looks like it. So you can see here, these are the anemone's tentacles here. And in the center here is the anemone's mouth. And this anemone will use its tentacles barnacles, that sticky feeling.
Hey Val, we're coming towards the 5-minute mark, so if you want to start coming back up.
Sounds great. So we're going to start heading up right now.
We have a question. How deep are you right now?
I am currently 3.1 meters deep. Here we go. We're just gonna follow our trail here and heading towards the surface. We're gonna check out some animals that are living more in the shallows, such as the barnacles. There's quite a bit of life both in the deeper waters as well as in the shallows here. And actually, here we can see a little more clearly all of the eggs that are in the kelp here. Oh, there's tombstones! There's tombstones coming by! This is probably my favorite part of the dive. Not because it's ending, but I love swimming amongst the kelp. Because amongst the kelp you'll often find fish like tombstones, rockfish, and perch. And you could swim so close to the fish and feel like it's almost like swimming in an aquarium. It almost feels like you could reach out and almost touch the fish.
Alright Val, if you want to say your goodbyes, we're going to start wrapping this one up.
Thank you so much for everyone for joining us today. I hope you had an awesome time and learned something about our oceans. I know I did. We look forward to having you join us on our next live dive. You can join us at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today. Thank you and have a great World Oceans Day.
Thank you everybody for joining us from wherever you are in the world, and everybody over at Fisherman's Wharf for World Oceans Day. It has been an absolute pleasure to be sharing this awesome occasion with you, to give you a chance to see the unseen, go beneath the waves. So thank you so much again for tuning in, and special thank you to Aqualung for helping us with